So, Mason, it's time for delays but good because of the writer's strike.
Love delays.
And we wouldn't have delays. I feel the need to point this out whenever we bring it up if people were paid properly.
That's right.
This isn't a matter of just like, hey, get back to work, you're delaying movies.
That's right.
You pay people properly.
Yeah.
And then they could go back to work and earn livable amounts of money.
Delays unless you give writers pays.
That's great, Mason.
I agree.
But delays but good is what we're going with.
But here's one that isn't being delayed, apparently. Is Deadpool 3.
Yes. So there's a couple of other Marvel things. There's always things being announced, but two of the big ones this week is Thunderball. Thunderball's been delayed, Mason.
Oh, my God.
The third remake of Thunderball. Now, Thunderbolts has stopped, as has Wonder Man. But yeah, Deadpool 3 is going ahead. But there is some legalities there, which might trip it up.
As I understand it, Ryan Reynolds is a Writers Guild writer.
Yes.
So if he improvises on set, as he is wont to do, that counts as writing.
Yeah.
So that could be a violation of the strike. And also, the last time Ryan Reynolds and Hugh Jackman teamed up during a writer's strike, we got X-Men Origins Wolverine, which is bad.
Good movie. Why not bookend the Deadpool trilogy, which starts with that?
Yes. Yep.
The Wolverine movies. There we go. That's a better way to put it. Where you got a bad one at the start and a bad one at the end. You know?
Yeah. And then they could both do one of those. They could advertise their gins and their whatever and be like, have one of these after a bad movie you made.
Which you just watched.
We made it and you watched it. And it's all a big tax write-off for us somehow.
That's it.
Did you also see Quentin Tarantino was like, what's going on with Ryan Reynolds? Did you see that?
Yeah, he was like, he made a movie and what was it? Is it real?
Yeah, he was like, I hear Ryan Reynolds makes $50 million for this movie and $50 million for this movie and this movie, but have you seen any of them? He's right. He's not wrong. I have.
I've
seen all of them,
I haven't seen Red Notice or the other one with Michael Bay, Six Underground. No, I saw... He came back from the future and he was his own dad and was also Star Wars.
Own dad space pilot.
Yeah, I saw that
Whatever
one.
that one's called. Yeah, you saw that.
Is that right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Is it the main guy got paid $50 million all right?
Absolutely.
I agree.
Definitely.
Terrific. Love that.
Yeah. So it's kind of a grey area in terms of actors being able to improvise on set. We know when the second Daniel Craig Bond movie, Quantum of Solace, because Daniel Craig was not a writer, he was
allowed to
improvise and write stuff because he's not a writer.
Yeah, because I guess the idea then is if he doesn't have the accreditation, it's probably going to be bad.
Yeah.
So don't even worry about it.
Absolutely.
If anything, this is going to prove how much you need writers because the non-writers are going to come up with a bunch of garbage.
But here's the thing, as you mentioned...
Give me back the solace. Oh, we've dropped the solace. Where is it? It's very small.
Wait, is it a metaphor or is it a real thing I can pick up? I'll just pretend to pick up something, you put something in my hand in post.
It's Solace brand vodka. They sorted it out. They built a shell company.
But Ryan Reynolds is an actor and a writer and producer on this, and this is why the Daily...
And other things. A gin maker.
Exactly. Via the Daily Dot, it said, Reynolds would probably be doing this kind of work, but if he supports the strike, he'll have to bite his tongue and keep filming with zero rewrites. Scabs and strike breakers risk being reported to the WGA tip line and expelled from the guild.
Uh-oh.
Here's the other thing, though, with the character of Deadpool. Because he's masked... they can fill a lot of this in afterwards.
They absolutely can. As soon as the strike is over.
Yeah, you can go back and it can be like, look at my balls.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Which is obviously in the script, but if they wanted to add more of that.
Add more of that. Yeah. How about he says that every time he kills a guy, they could say. You're absolutely right. And they could do it during filming. There's no way for us to know.
Yeah.
They could just write stuff and go, okay, we'll just have him look at the camera or whatever, and then as soon as the strike is over, we could be like, oh, he came up with all these lines they could say later. So
absolutely.
But even the idea of him looking at the camera, that counts as writing.
Does it really?
Probably.
So don't look at the camera.
Script, it's a script direction, surely. So
right, okay.
So I guess I don't know. They'll find spots.
I'm sure they'll figure it out.
Yeah. Or they could just comp in the background later.
Yeah.
So whatever.
Anyone can be anywhere saying anything.
Yeah. The perfect crime, Ryan Reynolds. Well done.
But it'll be interesting to see how that unfolds. If it does, we'll see what happens. So, Mason.
Do you reckon we'll know? When Deadpool 3 comes out, do you think we'll watch it and go,
okay.
Yeah,
I mean, you can tell on all of them.
That's true.
Because they CGI move the mouth under the mask. And he's just like, that's Barbara Streisand or whatever.
Sure, yeah.
A thing that he would say, basically.
Yeah.
What's the thing he would say?
He'd say, there's Barbara Streisand. Yeah. The classic Deadpool non sequitur that we all love.
It's just like that show Family Guy, actually.
That's true.
Which he was on.
Was he?
Yeah, he did an episode where he was Peter Griffin, they were in love. I don't know. It doesn't matter.
That's great.
What's important is that I have seen that episode. Everybody remember that. Write that down. Mason, there was a Lionsgate earnings call this week.
Love that, whatever that is.
Yeah, so they talked about the future of John Wick.
Okay.
And it was headed up by Lionsgate executive Joe Drake.
Don't know who that is.
Yeah.
Good name, though.
I agree.
I think John Drake would be better.
John
If
Drake.
he was an action hero, I think John Drake would be better than Joe Drake.
Yeah. I was going to say it works the other way, but it doesn't. Drake John.
No, that's bad.
Drake Johnson?
I don't like that, no.
Drake John Handgun.
That's pretty good, actually, yeah.
Thank you. So we're now...
Dick John Handgun.
Yeah, you're right. That's very good. So we're now... This is what John Drake... Dick
My
Handgun
friends call
said.
me Dick. Dick John Handgun. And then it all comes up in like the Sin City font. Dick John Handgun.
He said, we're moving across that...
Don't forget it. That's my name, Dick John Handgun.
You wouldn't forget it.
No, that's right.
I don't believe so. So on the topic of John Wick, he said, we're now moving across the franchise, not just in the AAA video game space, so look forward to more of that, I guess, but looking at what the regular cadence of spin-offs, television really growing that universe. So there is a steady cadence of the franchise, and there's a clear appetite by the audience.
It's just word salad, isn't it?
I probably read this wrong also.
No, I think you've read it. I think you've probably put more charisma behind it than John Drake Handgun or whatever.
We're a developer of 3 others, including John Wick Chapter 5. There we go, that's confirmed. But you can rely on regular cadence of John Wick.
Great.
So he's used the word cadence here a few times. He's clearly just come across this. Doesn't necessarily apply every time he uses it, but...
Lawrence Fishburne, like, John, can we rely on your regular cadence? Yeah, I'm thinking you can rely on my regular cadence.
So I guess if you haven't seen John Wick 3, and I think it's coming to streaming...
Do you mean 4?
4, sorry, yeah.
You have seen it because somebody put it on Twitter this week.
The entire thing. Oh, great.
The
good.
entire movie.
Wow, that's great.
And it stayed up for like days.
Well, that's longer than some other things that were attempted on Twitter last week.
That's true.
You know?
Yeah.
Some things were attempted and failed almost immediately for a large period of time. But you're telling me you can just upload a movie,
You can just upload it in like 720p. You can watch that on
What
your
a
TV
service.
probably. Yeah, it's great.
Yeah.
You probably, a bunch of people could probably download it.
Yeah.
You know, just watch it
But
whenever
at least people are talking about it. It's a big
So
success.
true, yeah.
And that's the most important thing.
Somebody was saying on Twitter this week that apparently the John Wick movies each represents a stage of grief or something.
No.
That
That's
not
something
true?
they made up after the fact.
Okay, right.
Not
When you say
mine, I don't know.
do you mean the creators or do you mean
No,
somebody
the
on
people,
Twitter?
yeah, I don't know.
Just somebody on Twitter. Okay, right.
Okay, fair enough.
Okay, all right.
But anyways, if you saw 4, it ends in a way where it's like, where's this going to go?
That's right.
John Wick 5 is the answer, though.
You're right.
Yeah, so good. After 3, I was like, I don't know. But then after 4, I'm like, all right.
Yeah.
That was great, actually.
Yeah.
And make another one
Agreed.
if you want. If you want to.
That's right.
But also, we're getting that hotel show.
Yeah.
And we're getting Ballerina next year, I
Supposedly
wanna
or
say.
allegedly. Yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Here we go, Mason.
Unless that was based on, I was going to say based on Ana de Armas's performance in Ghosted, but who knows whether that was.
Yeah, that wasn't real, though, was it?
Yeah, none of that was real. Yeah, that was a fake movie.
Okay,
That was
cool.
a fake movie in an episode. That was a fake movie in a different movie where somebody plays an actor who's like, "Why don't you get me any good roles?
Oh,
My last movie was a movie where I'm a regular guy, and then it turns out my girlfriend's a super spy, and we go out in Paris or whatever. It was boring, and everybody hated it.
and even if within this movie we're making, it wasn't real. I don't know how deep this goes.
Who am I?
How not real is this?
Yeah.
Or am I? Yeah.